Get on mute first. I'm supposed to hit record first. Record.
Can you see, hey Jet,
Yes.
can you see the red thing that says DCR at the bottom
Or where's it, Robert?
on the right? Can you click it?
There it is. There it is. Okay, I got it. Okay. Okay, we're recording. Everything look good in that? I think everything's good. Let me know if it's not. Okay, good morning, everybody. Today's date, September 22nd. It is 9 a.m. It's Commissioners Court. All commissioners are present. We please rise for the pledge of allegiance followed by the prayers. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Williams, you want to lead us into prayer, please?
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you have granted us. Thank you for allowing us to be a part in leadership of this county. Father, guide us and direct us in all that we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Review and act on minutes of September the 4th, September the 8th, September the 9th, and September the 12th. Commissioner Barton had a lot of meetings here so far this month.
I thought that was August.
Yeah, I thought this is August again. So commissioners, you'll go through the minutes. Any changes that need to be made?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes as written and presented.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Williams to approve all the minutes. Second by Commissioner Sullivan. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, unanimous. Audience individuals, Miss Karen Weston's here present today, and Miss Weston said she wanted to speak when we get to number 7 during the guidelines and criteria. Is anyone else here to speak? Anyone else? Hello, good morning. Hearing none, we'll move on to number 4. Consider an act on approving accounts payables. Questions or comments on accounts payables, commissioners?
No, that district court case was expensive for us. I make a motion, we approve the accounts payables as presented.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Williams to approve accounts payables. Second by Commissioner Head, end the discussion. All those in favor of approving accounts payables, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, unanimous. Consider an act number 5, consider an act on monthly county treasurer's report for August 2025.
Y'all remember this was tabled from last week or
Yeah,
Last quarter.
missing.
page 1.
Okay, motion been made by Commissioner Head to approve the county treasurer's report,
I'll second.
and second by Commissioner Parton. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the county treasurer's report for August 2025, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 6, consider an act on budget amendments in related matters.
So the one question that I have is the second page, I guess,
Okay,
that has the appraisal district expense. It says to cover the increase in the appraisal district's budget that was passed after our budget last year. Well, we didn't include this in our budget, so how are we raising that?
I don't have an answer to that.
Probably coming out of contingency or something.
And then anybody add in?
Well, I think we had some I don't know. That's what I was just trying to figure out is how we never. This is a budget line item. It's not a line item. This is a budget amendment. We turned this down at the beginning. What was it, June when they come back? When was it they come back to us?
Well, we approved their budget.
We approved their budget, but they come back later in the summer and said, hey, they need to change it. They need to make some updates on that.
Yeah, they came back in like December, then again in June or something.
Yeah, it was way after the budget was done, January or February.
But I mean, all the other entities approved the original budget, we did not approve the original budget, so.
I don't know. I was just curious of how this is working. Because if that's gonna be the case, then everybody's gonna start saying, okay, well,
But I mean, when during our budget process, we didn't approve their. I don't think we actually approved their deal because they didn't have all their employees. And then the rest of the entities, Marlin and Purdy and Gulfport and all them approved it, so that made their budget approved, wasn't it? Isn't that how that works?
It passed.
But
they-
but they come back, this is after the fact. All the districts approved it. And then they come back in December or whatever, you see what I'm saying? And this was added, it was an updated there. I don't know if they all approved that then or not. You see what I'm saying? Because the budgets are done in September,
Right. They must, the other entities must have approved it. Yes.
because our budget's already set.
Mhm.
So we already set it at that September rate as of October 1. So this would have to be. I'm just trying to figure out how we're doing this. I mean, yeah, I mean, that'd be great if she was. I was hoping she was online.
How about we come back to this, Commissioner Williams, or,
Well, she's got to have it done.
I know, I'm talking about later on, about 10
Oh.
minutes if she.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
that's
saying-
fine. That,
I'm
oh,
saying we'll
Yeah, I-
come back, not postpone it completely today. We gotta get things done, you know, in the year. Let's move on and we will come back to number 6, okay? If that sounds good, someone reach out to the county treasurer. And we will come back, don't forget this, come back to number 6. So how about we go ahead and dive into the guidelines and criteria number 7 regarding tax abatement under chapter 312 of Texas Tax Code. And we have for audience individuals. First off, Mr. Allen, good morning. I see you're there. We got a young lady who's going to speak first off before we start. Karen, good morning again. Karen's already been by. How are you, Miss Wesson?
Thank you.
Yeah, be sure to pull the mic down there so we can
Yeah.
hear your voice.
I'm not real tall.
Good morning, good morning again, Miss Wesson.
Good morning. Yes, my name is Karen Wesson Francis. I last had the opportunity to speak to y'all in August 27th. And I spoke about a little bit about tax abatements, my opinion on solar, and also the 25-26 budget. Since that meeting, I was able to obtain the county's July 31st financial statement. And that financial statement was very telling to me. I was a bit harsh, I believe, about the deficit budget that was approved for this next fiscal year. So now I have learned that as of July 31st, 2025, the county actually has over $7.5 million in investments. So in my opinion, as a retired CPA and auditor, those are funds that you could pull from if you had to. So yes, a deficit budget, although curious, as again, a retired CPA and auditor, I'm not concerned about the county's ability to meet its obligations. And I wanted to just update my comments from the prior meeting. Next, I would like to talk to you about the tax abatement guidelines and criteria. I have reviewed the current guidelines and criteria that were last passed in 2020 by Mills County. And I believe where the wording states job opportunities and jobs, I would ask you to consider adding wording that says permanent jobs versus just jobs. That's primarily on page 1. Page 3 also mentioned under item D, primary employment. Again, I would ask you to consider the retention or expansion of permanent employment. And then back on page 4, under economic qualification, item H, I would ask that you add to the guidelines and criteria a requirement for a road use agreement by any applicant for a tax abatement. And then as an example of another county guidelines and criteria, I was able to find those for Hill County, Texas. The county seat is Hillsborough, Texas. They have 35,000 residents. Their last criteria update was 2022. And it's very detailed, and I would ask that you consider adding a bit more robust details to our current guidelines and criteria. So, for example, they talk about the proposed capital improvements to the property and any proposed additions of personal property over and above what exists on the property at the date of the applicant application, and any proposed increases in employment or retention of jobs, which the number of jobs to include the number of jobs, the average wage of the jobs, and the employment benefits to be provided, and most importantly, a commitment to retain those jobs throughout the abatement period. And they go on to talk about, they include a clause that talks about an audit. You can audit for compliance for the applicant of the tax abatement. They can say all these things about jobs and sourcing from Mills County, but can we audit that after the fact? I would ask you to consider adding language for an audit capability that the county would then have. They do also go into more detail about sourcing from Hill County, which I would ask y'all to consider. The quality of the jobs proposed involving creation of just minimum wage jobs would be considered less favorable abatement than one involving the provision of jobs having more attractive wages and benefits. Greater consideration may be given to an applicant that commits to use contractors, vendors, and suppliers located in Hill County for a substantial portion of its construction expenditures and annual supplies and service, and presents the county with a plan to do so as part of its application. Greater consideration may be given to an applicant that commits to fill at least 2/3 of the new employment positions created with persons who reside in the county and present the county with a plan to do so. Lastly, Hill County has a clause that talks about when a project provides for little job creation but significant capital investment, care must be taken to properly analyze the possible impacts to the tax valuation in the future from factors such as depreciation, market changes, regulatory changes, appraisal methodologies, tax exemptions, and other related matters. So,
Okay.
those are just a few items I would ask that you add. And then finally, I have shared with some of y'all that although I do not live full-time in Mills County, I believe that my vested interest in the county and what happens in these solar instances is very near and dear to my heart. I wish I could live here full time, but I'm not able to. Thank you very much.
Karen, thanks for your comments, and, we'll keep you posted on everything.
Thank you.
Thanks for your comments, I appreciate it. And good morning, Mr. Allen. I think we're ready to start with the, your part, the guidelines and criteria. So, Jeff, good morning. We got, the proposed tax abatement guidelines for Mills County that you sent to us. All the commissioners got a copy of it. And, I'll turn over to you to read your comments. You can start with.
Yeah, sure. It's good to see y'all again. Enjoy working with you and thanks for having me out again. Just real quick on a couple of the comments from the public comments. One of the changes that we have on these over some of the guidelines and criteria in the past, in section 1D, we do have a job creation requirement that right now I've got blank in there. So when y'all go to consider it, that's something you can take. And as far as that goes, right now, the way that we have them defined is full-time employees at a competitive market wage. The full-time employee is somebody who works 2,080 hours in Mills County, and the competitive market wage right now is just a defined term, which is a wage established through industry analysis or not less than essentially $15 an hour. Some of that is just to give some flexibility depending on the type of jobs that may be coming in, but that's something where you would have flexibility as a commissioner's court to set those baselines on how you want to define those. As far as maintaining the jobs throughout the abatement, that's actually something that we do fairly often in the abatement agreement itself. Because it depends a little bit on the type of investment that is being made, the type of facility that's being installed. Like, for example, when we have large industrial or manufacturing facilities that have the carrying capacity for X number of jobs, and they say, we promised you we're going to make 35 permanent jobs throughout this abatement. What we normally have in the abatement, and we could include that in the guidelines and criteria, is a job creation penalty such that for each job that is, for example, if they created 20 jobs when they promised 30, we increase the pilot payment correspondingly. So the abatement percentage goes down based on the fewer jobs. That's something we could put in the guidelines and criteria, essentially stating that on the job creation requirement that there would be a penalty on it. But we do usually have that, and I can send y'all some language to look at if you just want to see it, for when we do have a specific requirement, there is a penalty, and it does require them to provide a certificate every year stating to you, the commissioner's court, how many new jobs they created over the base number of jobs that they started with. On the other point on that, this draft does have a road use requirement in it. That's one of the things that y'all had talked about in the last meeting. In adding on this group, we added a new section in section 4B9 that requires whoever's requesting a abatement to meet with the commissioner who's responsible for the precinct that the facility would be installed in to meet with you to go over a road use plan and to come up with a road use agreement. A road use and maintenance agreement is what we have. And we get fairly specific in those as to, again, we put it in here as in the guidelines in this manner to give you the flexibility when you come in and you see what they're going to do. For example, the most recent one we did, we're actually requiring the developer to pave some roads that are unpaved that they're using, because they were planning on using some not quite as improved county roads. So we're requiring them to go in and do those, and we're very specific in the mileage that they're going to have to do that on, so there's no question. But that's what we wanted, is we want them to come in and sit down with whoever's responsible for the specific precinct to talk to them. Also included in that following section is we had talked about a bond requirement. That's not one that I've done very often, but I went ahead and included it here, essentially a bond securing their road use and maintenance agreement. And we have for ensuring the clean, safe, and complete removal of energy facilities, because on wind projects, solar projects, as you see, there's a state law requiring a removal security, but that may be something that y'all want to require is a little bit more robust than the state law, especially with respect to solar, because it's a 20-year. It doesn't require the bond to be posted until the 20th anniversary of the beginning of the project, which is very late. It's beyond kind of the useful life of those improvements. So that may be something where in abatements you want to ensure it. We have done that in the past. That trickles into kind of some of the responsibilities of the landowner use agreement, the lease agreement that they have. But I have worked in counties before where they were uncomfortable with long requirements for restoration, and they were afraid that it was going to create a hazard or other problem in the county, and they wanted to see that those bonds were posted at a certain time. So those were the two changes in this version over what we did last time. So open to any questions y'all have or comments for additional modifications.
Questions? I've got one, and wouldn't have you finished, Mr. Allen? With your report?
The what? Sorry.
I had a question on the reinvestment.
Yes, sir.
So, this farm, of course, as you know, is 600 some odd acres is in Mills County, 100 acres approximately is in Brown County. They're apparently not gonna do any guidelines and criteria or reinvestment zone. Does that make any difference on our plotting and planning on doing this reinvestment zone if part of the farm is in another county and not in the reinvestment zone?
No, we would just make it up to the boundary of Mills County and adjoining counties that they would have to, it's in their discretion not to do it. Some counties use that as leverage. In the past, I've seen counties go to the developer and say, if you pull all the investment in our county, we'll give you a better abatement or things like that. It gives you a little leverage in doing that, but it doesn't impact you as far as creating the reinvestment zone. You would just make it up to your boundary.
Questions?
The only thing I got is, my understanding, permanent jobs for these solar plants is usually only 3 to 5 people. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're not job intensive, which is why you've seen many counties either dramatically reduce the percentage of abatements or not grant them. For example, the most recent county I worked with, we do not offer abatements higher than 20% for solar projects. So they are a significant investment. So it's a budget issue where if you feel like the advantage is potentially being able to lower the tax rate or use those funds, but they're not major job creators, not even to the level that the wind turbines were. So yeah, that number is pretty accurate from what I've seen in the past.
And you say 20%, are you talking about abatement or pilot?
We usually calculate the pilot based on if we took the full taxes, required them to pay 80% of the taxes and base the pilot off of that. So it's a pilot, but it's calculated based off of a 20% abatement.
Commissioners, I'm thinking we'll probably need to do another workshop sometime near future, next few weeks. Are y'all thinking the same way? On all this?
The only other question I have for him on your reinvestment zones where you may have more than one, do you just make the reinvestment zone the place or the acreage that project is on?
Yes. The limitation is generally your abatements within one reinvestment zone have to all be the same. So we generally will tailor it to fit just that one project to maintain your flexibility. If you're not concerned with that and you just would want to hypothetically offer the same thing across the board, you can make a larger reinvestment zone. But that's the limitation of the bigger reinvestment zones, is that generally within the boundaries of it, you want your abatements to be the same.
Also, I just got back from some schooling that they talk more about solar now than wind. But it wouldn't be the need out there, but if there's need for infrastructure or county housing, that can be included in your guidelines and criteria.
Yeah, we have some flexibility within the guidelines and criteria, and then even beyond that, for individual projects, you have a lot of flexibility in negotiating the actual abatement. The guidelines and criteria really work as kind of limitations, kind of bumpers in some sense that, you know, especially if there's certain things you want to be able to just eliminate altogether and saying like, we don't want to grant abatements for, you know, solar projects. You can craft your guidelines and criteria in such a way that when somebody applies for one, they just don't meet the minimum requirements. For example, like you mentioned, jobs, if you want your abatements, you're only going to grant abatements if somebody comes in with 8 to 10 or more jobs, then you put that requirement in there. And then if a solar project comes up and they can't do that, you know, you immediately just say, look, our priority is job creation in this county. We appreciate, we're happy to have you, but we're not going to grant an abatement unless we have job creation. You can do those sorts of things with your guidelines.
Well, Bill, our county attorney, do you have any questions on this proposed, draft?
Well, I have, excuse me, I have some questions, but I think, apologize. I think, Jeff, that if, maybe we're about to talk with Mr. Allen by phone, there are a few minor, either questions or corrections that should be made. I'm not sure it's anything meaningful.
Okay.
One comment, Mr. Allen, that I really liked from Ms. Francis's comments a while ago was the audit procedure. We've asked that question before, and that would be interesting to see how that would work on your guidelines and criteria. I know we've discussed that on the wind farms that we've had here. How do we know they're meeting that? And that may be something that's being done through the appraisal district right now that we don't see, but maybe could you mention something about that, or have you seen anything like that?
Yeah, and it's often in the abatement agreement itself. Generally, what we require them to do is submit to you as the commissioners a certification showing the number of jobs. Some of the times, or jobs or investment or all those sorts of things. And that's something I'll send that language to you that I use directly in the abatements. I don't think there's anything that would stop you from including that in the guidelines directly. To essentially, in long story short, the mechanism is they provide us a list of the jobs, the places, the location of where they're going, what they're doing each year. Y'all can review it. Some of those may require some non-disclosure type agreements if it's something that they don't want disclosed, but you see that information, you're able to do it, and you sign off on it or you don't. But I will send you that language that I use in abatement agreements so you can see it. And then y'all can decide if you want to include that directly in your guidelines and criteria. Because it said
That would be helpful. I think that would be really helpful to see a copy. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Because y'all, like I said, that's something you can include that expands the transparency of the guidelines and criteria. Really, people coming in know that that's what you're going to ask. So I'll get that to y'all this afternoon or this morning.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, any other questions, commissioners, or do anybody? Well, Mr. Allen, we'll be in touch with you again for
Okay.
each more business. Thank you for coming.
All right.
And-
It's good talking with y'all.
Pardon?
It's good talking to y'all.
Have a good day, Jill. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, soon.
Okay. So we were gonna go back up to consider an act on budget amendments, which is number 6. And Ms. Campbell, good morning. There's a question about the Mills County Appraisal District earlier.
So it was a question that I'm asking Summer. Is it on? Is what she asked, I think.
Yeah, is it on?
Okay.
Is that we passed last year's budget in September and October, and then they come back and ask for an upgrade December, January, or something like that, whenever they come back. And we didn't talk about, I mean, it was after the October, after we'd already passed it. And so my question is, how are we doing this? I mean,
My first question is, did you pass tables?
Yes.
And you've approved the payment? So now, this adjusts the line item to show we've made the budget. Now,
Okay, but we can go-
as far as how that works out, that's for y'all to be responsible for us. specifically Jet, isn't it? If the entities, the majority votes, we have to pay our portion, whether we said yes or no.
Yes, that's right, yes.
But that was, we did that, but at the original, but then they went back and redid it again, so.
Research. We talked about it, so we would make the adjustment budget. You can table this one, because most likely, if I run payroll today, we're gonna have to do some budget amendments based on health insurance, because if you remember, in September, we're seeing October's rates. So we do this every year. So I'm in the middle of writing payroll, I won't know that till this afternoon. So if you want to table this and do some research, that's fine with me. But just so you know, you've already approved the payment.
And
We-
regarding,
But we can go back and adjust that. In payables. Yes,
It passed.
Pass. Regarding future, court meetings, yeah, I know Monday or Tuesday, we may need some more things,
For me, it would be better to do it on Friday, because Monday, June, I'm trying to close out a fiscal year. That's
Okay.
a very in-depth
okay,
process, so I don't need to be in.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, okay, so Friday, morning or afternoon better for you? Friday morning, yes, Friday morning.
So if you want to table this one and do your research, because
well,
it
it
seems
won't,
to me like the entities voted again, or maybe they went to the entities and the majority of them said.
But they passed it, yeah, all the entities except for us, yeah.
But
Yeah.
they said that they would be glad to pay it, and we did not. But that means we still have to pay our portion. If I'm understanding
Okay.
that process correctly. So.
Okay,
you
I
can
don't,
table
I
it
don't,
and do
I don't
your
ever remember it coming back to the court saying that we would approve their,
research. Right.
since our budget was passed.
I don't think we did, but I think the majority of the other entities agreed to pay it, so that requires us to pay our portion, because it's a majority vote.
But what I'm saying is that was before the budget was passed, so.
So if you want to table it, let's table it, and let's do some research this week, and then address it on Friday.
Yeah, I'm fine going asking the questions. I just don't quite understand how it happens after the budget is already set. I understand it before the budget is set, but not after the budget is set. So I'll be glad to call Clint Patrick and talk to him about that.
To provide that information before that should be in the budget process. But we do have the money to make that in.
okay. So what do you want to do on this?
I make a motion to table it till Friday.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Courtney.
All of them or just this one?
You just do them all.
So there's others, or which one did you want?
He said all of them.
All of them?
That was his
We
motion.
cannot pay these bills today based on.
Fine.
But you've already approved on any payments.
Yeah.
So you have to fix that. You have to go back and pick out the ones you're not going to pay.
Why don't you just take it, just as one on the appraisal?
And you're still gonna have to go back and fix payables.
Do it.
You're still gonna have to go back and fix payables.
But y'all just told me,
Yeah, not pay this one.
but
And I'll, rescind my motion.
That affects your payments. That affects. I know your people are already calling, asking for their check.
Commissioner Parkman, did you withdraw your motion?
Yes. Because I also have a question on, the jail overtime, and that's
So-
been approved there.
James will back me up, everybody has COVID. They're having COVID, so we got employees, I'm processing payroll right now, so we need to overtime for that coverage. So we've already.
Where's it coming from? They
General
don't have
fund.
anything.
Yeah, it's just an increase. I can't transfer money from one line to a payroll line. We're just increasing that line by $5,000. We have the money. I wouldn't present something if we did not have the money.
We've already increased it
I
once.
have to pay these people no matter what you think about how overtime is used. That's law, labor law. I have to pay them for their time. And I
So I have a question for the whole county. Why are we here?
I think this is fine.
What do we need to talk about on overtime for the jail? I'm glad it's still open, I think I can say.
Yeah.
The number of people that have had COVID lately, and I'm honest, one, so, yeah. I mean, we have to call them into work or.
Yeah. Well, we approved, I don't even remember what figure it was,
Because
12,000, 27,000.
So we
In
can
July.
talk about goals and what we hope to do. And my goal was no more overtime. And that's really was. I stood here and said that, but at the same time, when I get 2 or 3 hours of code, I've gotta do something. So, pay them. Call them in and ask them to work. And the number of hours that they're working down there is insane anyway. And willing to do that and cover shifts where folks are sick.
we're talking about over 110 hours in a 2-week period. Yes.
So. I'm not sure what the solution is for the future. We talked about that a little bit down there, so I don't know if during the budget process, we figured some certain numbers to the tune of about 10,000 to make sure that it's there, so we won't have to have these conversations.
We did do that in this last budget.
But-
We did increase overtime.
These are things that we can't even plan for, so. I mean, we can do our best while we're there and say, we'll monitor overtime, we'll not allow any that's not absolutely needed, but in a circumstance like this. Absolutely needed. Like I said, we either call them in and have them work or.
What I've seen and my wife was an ER nurse with COVID now, unless you're running a fever, you work.
Say again?
Unless you're running a fever, you work.
They have opportunities to not return to work.
Yeah. So, right, and the worst thing that we can have them do is work while they are working, but then that affects the whole crowd. Yes. They're not out of bounds.
Okay, questions, let's, what are we gonna do on this? Commissioners, what are we gonna do on this?
Whatever.
Brings my case back to what I argued earlier this year. An auditor would have solved all this, so I make a motion that we table the, what is this? Appraisal district expense and approve all the other budget amendments. That's my motion.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Williams to approve all amendments except for the Mills County Appraisal District, correct? Do I hear a second? Not hearing a second, motion fails. I'll make a motion, we approve the budget amendments as presented today, all budget amendments. Motion made, second, all those in favor of approving the budget amendments as presented, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 4 in favor, 1 opposed.
Commissioner Parton, were you for or against?
Okay, Ms. Campbell, thank you. All right, moving on. Number 8, consider an act on rules of procedure, conduct, and decorum, Mills County Court and related matters. So commissioners, what this pertains to is, as you all know, we've changed the law, or we haven't, this legislature has, on having 3 full business days to order to post meetings. Used to 72 hours. So we can post things like Thursday afternoon and cover Monday. Now we can't do that. It's got to be 3 full business days. And let's see, the main deal is under section 3, number 3, about trying to get all items posted for the agenda by 12 noon on Tuesday. And I know County Attorney Malone, you've gone through some things, and there's a couple more things that, if you look on section 7, that's on the next last page. A, it says the court may at its option use remote technology for permit remote, and Mr. Maloney suggested we take out permit on that point, correct? Yes, sir. We're going to take out permit, that's on section 7, number A is an apple. And then on the last page on the, says number 10, X. Second sentence says these rules of procedure, conduct, and decorum shall also apply to such town meetings and public hearings. Mr. Malone suggested we put a comma there. Then a new sentence would be however. Yeah, period, excuse me, I said comma, period. So it should say also apply to such town meetings and public hearings, period. And then a new sentence, however. And Mr. Malone, that's the only suggestion you said that we might change on this.
Yes, the only other, had to do with the co-town, in case you're absent. If there is not a previously determined judge co-town, then, it's conceivable that you may have two members who both have the same tenure, and therefore there would be some unclarity regarding who would be the judge pro-tem. So,
Okay.
but that's probably the most likely.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions on this?
So it was brought up by Bill also once, several meetings back. That it doesn't say in here that we follow Robert's Rules of Procedures. Do we need to? I mean, County Attorney, Hale always had us follow Robert's Rules of Procedures.
Or are we not following properly?
Well, we just made a motion, last month that had already died, and then we re-seconded it, and I think Dale's the one that it did it, and we were like, and it got brought to a county attorney's opinion that we're not following Robert's Rules of Procedures, and then he looked it up and it's not on there. Visiting with the county clerk, she would like it to state Robert's or a form of Robert's Rules of Procedures. Right now, we don't have to, so.
And the email that you sent.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Are there any others? I mean, we've always heard Robert's Rules of Orders. Are there any other orders?
Yes, there is another, another set of rules. I forget the exact name of it, but I can look it up and send an email to the commissioners. You're not required to follow Robert's Rules of Order. What I perceive the court doing is following a relaxed Robert's Rules of Order, which in this context, to me, is pretty much ideal. The goal is to have orderly discussion, free discussion, plenty of time, and of course be orderly and have the vote. And I think you accomplish that. If you actually adopt Robert's Rules of Order, you'll probably regret it because it can get pretty picky and it would require some changes. So my recommendation would be to continue what you're doing with the relaxed version of Robert's Rules of Order. But bear in mind that if a question comes up and you ask the county attorney, what should we do? It isn't really easy then to go to a strict view of Robert's Rules of Order. And it's, but historically, I think you all done a great job.
I do too. I just didn't know how, I mean, we just got informed that we already voted and passed, and we don't have to follow Robert's Rules of Procedures. So that's
Well,
what,
in theory, we do follow Robert's Rules of Law. We have a motion, we get a second, we get a vote, we get discussion. I don't see anything wrong with been doing.
No, I know.
oh, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, maybe we need to say an informal or a relaxed version or something that it states in here how we do court.
For example, if you adopt Robert's Rules of Order strictly, then anybody who wants to speak would need to get the floor.
Yeah.
And then Jet would call on somebody
Correct.
who has asked for the floor. And you have these technicalities, which I think would be unpleasant at a minimum. I don't know that you need to add anything to the rules of decorum to state you're following a relaxed view, because then you have to question, what is the relaxed version? obviously, you know, whatever y'all want to do.
Okay, well, I was just asking since we were changing it and you and I had already had that discussion. And so had the county clerk who've been involved in this discussion.
Now, the
So,
clerk may prefer a stricter version of Robert's rules or the other. I apologize, I can't think of the name of the text, but, if it ain't broke, yeah,
okay.
I think it's working well from my perspective.
Well, I'm happy the way things are. I'll state that on the list. And Bill, you're here always to check on us. If we do something out of order, you always let us know. So,
The only thing I do
How,
is every once in a while, kind of skirt the, public information out. So, in other words, we have the Open Meetings Act. When something is posted as an agenda item, we've added the phrase "and related matters" to give a little bit of, you know, rounding off the edges. But sometimes even those are pushed. But as far as following Robert's rules of order,
okay,
I think all of them.
okay. Any more discussion, commissioners, on this item? If here none, I'll make a motion that we approve this rules of procedure with 3 changes, taking the word permit out on 7A. And then on number X or 10, as I stated earlier, having a period after hearings and a new word, however, which is already, is that confusing, Ms. Scott?
Do you have this document? Are you gonna make these changes and present it to you?
Well, I was making a motion with these changes. I can't sign it today, but once she,
Right,
Those
but you
are
have the
changes.
document to make the changes. I don't have this document to make the
Yes.
changes. So.
I think it's in the red folder, but I was gonna make those changes in that red folder and.
It
was
needs to
there-
be made.
official change. what you-
Okay.
I think this document is in your office.
Yes,
So when you make the changes, if everybody votes to approve the changes, then you'll sign the corrected.
yes,
version,
yes,
And
understand.
then I'll get.
Okay. Okay, so there's my motion. Do I hear a second?
And so then we gotta come by and sign the one in his office. So we have to
Yes,
sign the
yes,
one.
that's good. Gotcha.
Okay, gotcha.
Motion's been made, a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the new updated rules of procedure and decorum, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes, and gentlemen, you get a chance, next day or so, come by, we'll get all that, y'all sign that. Number 9, consider an act on double wheel vibrating roller / Packer bids for precinct 1 and related matters.
We have not received any bids for this roller packer. So, and I have had it in the newspaper for 3 weeks. It was over 3 weeks, so it is. We've had it in the newspaper according to the law. We have not received any.
Okay. Questions, commissioners, for Mr. Sullivan? Commissioner Sullivan?
So how do we act on
Wait,
no bids? Let's consider an act on bids. There are no bids.
you just don't take no action
Just dies. So,
if you're doing Robert's rules of
yeah.
procedure.
So there's no bids and there's nothing to consider an act on, Mr. Malone, correct? So we will just let this thing die, correct? Sure. Okay, moving on, number 10, consider an act on surety bond continuation certificates. James Purcell and Shawnee Martinez. These are our yearly deals to do for everybody. Any questions or discussion on this? Hearing none, I'll make a motion. We approve the surety bonds for James Purcell and Shawnee Martinez.
Second.
Yes. This motion been made, second by Commissioner Williams. All those in favor of approving the surety bonds, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 11, consider an act on declaring Judge Johnson's chair as scrap. Old chair of his history, it wouldn't stay up. Got a new chair. I'll make a motion. We consider that as scrap. Motion been made, second by Commissioner Head. Any other discussion? All those in favor of considering the chair scrap, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 12, considering out from professional services agreement, by and between Mills County and David Shaw Companies and related matters. Mr. Shaw, you might come up in case anybody has any questions. We did this last year with Mr. Shaw. The contract's been in your packages, commissioners. David, anything you need to add to this, sir?
No, sir. I didn't make any changes to the contract except for the modifications in the period of time and year, and then the changes to the budget that was approved. Everything else is the same.
Okay. Commissioner, any questions for Mr. Shaw?
The only thing I still have is, does this make David a contractor or an employee?
It says in there is a contract.
Contract, says contract in there. Okay, any other questions, commissioners? We did pretty well the same thing last year. Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we approve of the professional services agreement by and between Mills County, Texas and DRS companies.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Williams to approve the professional service contract. Second by Commissioner Sullivan. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the services contract with DRS company, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Yes, sir.
To stay for the programs.
Yes, sir. If you can stay just a second, yeah. Well, let's go to number 13. Consider an act on deposit for double wheel vibrating roller / packer for precinct 1. Mr. Sullivan?
What I've done is he's written me where we're looking at the double wheel roller. The Syntex Equipment Company. And he's written me an invoice. And he was requesting at least 10,000 down to hold until I can purchase in October. And that's why I'm bringing it before the court. For the 10,000 on the invoice that he wrote.
So he's gonna hold it for 8 days is what he's
He's gonna
asking.
hold it for 8 days,
Okay.
9 days, or however long.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions? Mr. Sullivan, you will make a motion on that?
I'm making a motion to approve the deposit for the double wheel vibrating roller precinct 1.
Okay, I'll second that. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the deposit of the double wheel vibrating / roller packer for precinct 1, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 14, Mr. David Shaw, EMC exclamation point. Consider an act on reinstating the burn ban related matters. Well, commissioners, first off, you know, it's been a good year for Mills County. We've had,
Amen, amen.
yeah, we've had nearly too much rain in Clark around Commissioner Parton Heads precinct. We've had 31 inches since January the 1st here at the courthouse. Some places I know have had 40 inches. So we've had this burn ban all spring and summer pretty well. If we just keep some elected officials from starting fires like I did in Labor Day weekend. But I've contacted the 4 fire chiefs as I always do, David Swartz, Ed Sanders, George King, Kevin Horrocks. All 4 of them were in favor of putting the burn ban back on. And Mr. Shaw, what comments do you have?
So just real briefly, our last fixed force service, predictive service update still has Mills County, our fire potential remains low to moderate, which is good for the county. Our moisture percentile again continues to stay within that 25 to 50% percentage, which is good as well. Then the other item we look at is the energy release component. So for our area, we still stay in the normal conditions. So we've had a really good fire season for 2025. We're looking blessed, no major issues. I would say that we are now moving into the late summer, early fall driving season. So you'll probably see most of the other counties around us as well.
Brown County is in a burn ban, and in Lampasas County, I talked to the commissioner last week as a meeting, and he said they're probably gonna put it on Monday today in Lampasas. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a good fire season. So we thank.
And one other thing, commissioners, I got a call from Kevin Hortz wanting burn ban flags. And I think it'd be good, y'all probably need new flags for y'all's 4 precincts and the 4 fire chiefs need them. David said he can order them. I don't know what line item we need to pay for those out of. Y'all have any recommendations?
It usually comes out of the judge's office.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's 325, that's fine. We'll, I got some funds there. Let's go and get those ordered and, yeah, but anyway, is that good enough for y'all guys? So 4 flags for the commissioner's barns and 4 for the fire chiefs, right?
When those come in, I'll deliver those out.
Okay, that's good. Good deal. David, thank you. And somebody want to hard after this for another question. Okay, and you, that gold ISD mount, somebody wanted that too, I think, right?
I'm sorry.
The updating the gold ISD mount for some commission, what was that? Is that someone else I was thinking of?
Might have been somebody else.
Yeah, it's missing someone else. Never mind. Too many notes here. David, thank you, bud. Oh, well, we need to make a motion now. Here, I'll make a motion. We put the burn ban back on for Mills County as of today.
So,
Motion been made by me, second by Commissioner Head. End of discussion. All those in favor of reinstating the burn ban for Mills County, say aye. Any opposed? Burn ban will be reinstated today. I'll call the 4 fire chiefs and let them know what's going on. Next, ladies, we got some wonderful ladies in the back. Y'all want to come up? I know y'all want to speak to the Commissioner's Court, Ms. Sharon or whoever. So this is number 15, consider an act on proclamation of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And Ms. Sharon wanted to make a few comments before we go through with this. Sharon, I think we know everybody, but go ahead and introduce all of your ladies with you and tell what y'all do.
I brought a mission statement for each of you, and then, everyone, I know everyone, but Mr. Solomon, I don't believe we've met yet. But I want to hand these out if that's okay.
Sure, yes, ma'am.
And then this is, Patty Eldridge, she works with me. Teresa is our treasurer, and Tracy is our board president.
Okay.
And as of next month, we'll be here 26 years.
Well, it's been
Very good.
Y'all done a great job. We opened the office space. We're glad to do it. Y'all serve a great need, county.
Yes. Teresa keeps the office open every Wednesday. We have another lady coming in, and our office here in the courthouse will be open if someone can attend it every day of the week. And what we do there is we try to help with resources, because most of our resources, we have to reach out to other counties, like Brownwood or St. Sarah. And so anyone that comes in our office needing any kind of assistance, they either give me a call, because or any of us, and we can help anyone with most resources. So that's what we try to do with the office. is
Well,
help with resources.
And you said 26 years.
Next month, October.
And how many besides all y'all work with the group in Mills County? Total, yes.
Goodness, Patty, would you have any idea? We have several nice volunteers, and, I'm thinking real close to 20.
That's great. Well,
All of our volunteers, and that's a pretty good.
That's very good. Yeah, y'all got a great group. Commissioner, y'all got any comments you want to add to this before I read the proclamation?
No, we appreciate what you do.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Without y'all, we could not do it without God.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, let me read this proclamation here. So proclamation for Mills County, whereas domestic violence potentially affects every person in Mills County, Texas, either as a victim / survivor of domestic violence or as a family member, significant other, friend, neighbor, or coworker. And whereas we are working to provide services and assistance to domestic violence survivors, responding to emergency calls and criminal justice proceedings. And whereas during the month of October, Texas Council of Family Violence will be intensifying efforts to promote public understanding of family violence and increase sensitivity to victims of family violence, emphasizing the need for citizen involvement in efforts to reduce family violence through public education and changing public attitudes. And now, therefore, the Commissioner Court Mills County, Texas does hereby designate October 2025 as Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month in Mills County, Texas, and urge the appropriate recognition whereof. And witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of Mills County to be affixed on September 22nd, 2025, signed by me. All right, I'll make a motion to approve this proclamation.
So,
Motion been made, second by Commissioner Head. All those in favor of approving the proclamation declaring October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Sharon, thank you for coming and thanks for all the work you and all
Thank
the
y'all.
ladies do.
We appreciate
Yeah.
it very much. Thanks for your time.
Well, you're welcome. Keep up the great work. Okay. Number 16, Commissioners' reports and requests. Commissioner Sutherland, you want to take it off here?
Right now, we're working on 14, we've been hauling wrap material out, we're finished with that. We're starting on, 315, we're hauling, some material off of private properties. The landowner giving us some leases, so we can fix that road on 315. From other side of his house all the way back down to 3 Mile Crossing, which needs to be done, and we're at the end of our budget right now. I was thankful for that.
Okay. Commissioner Head?
well, where's been on, still working on 235, we, worked over what we call Watson Creek, we fixed that wash, built the road back up, going up the hill and everything, kind of worked it, packed it all back down, we're still working over by Kimbrough's, we finished hauling that and finished getting all 10 horns in, and then, we just kind of been, working on some ditches and some lead rocks. Tried to shred a little bit last week, got the EMS building shredded, but, the air conditioner didn't work in the shredders, so that's, all glass, so it's kind of a hot box. But, other than that, we're working on putting a 10 horn in on the intersection where every time it rains a little bit, we end up with a 6-inch ditch across the road, so we're trying to eliminate that problem.
Good job. Anything else, Commissioner Head?
No, I believe it's,
Commissioner Portland, Precinct 3, go ahead, sir.
I've been shredding and we've been doing some blading over around Lake Merritt, different areas, some areas where we were kind of leaving alone for the engineers to come. Well, they've been here, so we'll see where that goes. Went to schooling this past week, been gone for a week. Very informative schooling, a lot of things changing, a lot of things changed in the legislature. So, that's about all I got, ready to get back at it.
All right, Commissioner Williams?
Been just basically working on County Road, 416, 417, 430, and starting today, 523. We are hauling the wrap material. We should finish up in the next couple of days, with our 100 loads, and then we can all reevaluate, on that. That pile has went way down this last week, so, I do not know exactly how much is going to be left there. So, on that, so, I had rented a roller, to help put this wrap down, and it goes back this week. And so I was wondering if that, to finish up my use of the, rock crusher, if I could maybe use one of Precinct's, 2 or 3's rollers, if it's available.
You're welcome to it.
Okay, thank you, sir. And should finish up this week with the rock crusher. We'll get it done. There was a broken glass. We broke the glass out of the back window. That should be here today or tomorrow, and we'll have that replaced before it transfers to the next precinct. Let's see here. Other than that, I think that's it. We've been really busy hauling that wrap.
Okay. All right, number 17, County Judges Report. As you all know, folks, Tuesday's the end of our fiscal year, Tuesday, I guess, 5 p.m. or whatever. As you heard, Treasurer Campbell suggest we probably do another commissioner court meeting, and our 3 full business days, we can get involved on the agenda, by this afternoon at 5 p.m. definitely. So we have our 3 full business days, correct, Mr. Malone? So would Friday at 9 o'clock be a good time for y'all for another meeting? Okay,
As far as I know.
okay. Friday at 9 o'clock to kind of wrap up the fiscal year. And we'll get those burn bin flags ordered, we talked about earlier. Dispatching report, Sheriff, you might want to come up here, so give everybody up to date. Sheriff and I have been lots of meetings back and forth, the sheriff, myself, Judge Foley. As you know, we did the emergency order last week to help our neighbors out in Savannah. And Sheriff, why don't you give the commissioner the updates that you gave me on what's going on with dispatching?
So we're just about to get that completed. That is a lot of undertaking to get all of that done. I had no idea what it took to get something like that accomplished. And with this, about most of that done. There are a few things with the COG that we have left to do this week as far as getting the necessary equipment in there for San Saba to operate on their own. So everything that they will do, that will be a San Saba dispatch that will just be operating at Mills County Jail, what that amounts to. All of their equipment has been moved, such as their TLENS things.
Router thing too, yeah.
Routers, yes, that's what I was looking for. Just a few incidentals this week. Hopefully we have them up and operating by Tuesday or Wednesday. So they'll be able to get back to dispatching their folks 911 and things of that nature. That was another item that had to be moved. So they have their San Saba 911 line and things of that. So.
And Sheriff, might add, I'm correct, Amanda and Jordan have moved to that little office as you walk in on the right, correct?
So Amanda did move up there to the flex office.
Yeah.
Jordan is still in that office.
Okay.
I wanted someone in there. We know that those dispatch centers can get pretty complex.
Sure. That's a good plan.
So having one in the office there to help our dispatch, certainly if San Saba needs an extra individual, they'll have to provide that individual. One of the things to be noted is San Saba will be coming over and running their own dispatch console. So their dispatchers will be traveling back and forth and running their own console. We'll not be doing that. The only thing that we provided was that secondary console that we had to allow them to do their dispatching. Most everything else, their routers, their 911 lines, their mnemonics and things of that nature all came from San Saba.
Our new dispatching console, did we get all that? All the frequency set, everything pretty well in the COG?
Yes, last week, that was one of the things that still needed to be accomplished. The encryption keys was uploaded by DPS on those San Saba channels. There was a couple others that are not coming to mind right now that was all completed Thursday and Friday. So we just about got that accomplished where San Saba can get to work. They're ready for that.
Well, good job, Sheriff, on reporting everything. Commissioners, questions from the sheriff?
No, I just talked to all their commissioners this past week. They, as a county or as commissioners, they are very appreciative. They were in a bind.
Yes, I was speaking of Reed and then Judge Foley also, Chief Deputy, when I say Reed Daly over there, the way they're having to do that is not good. It's dangerous. Having to dispatch out of the courthouse the way they're doing that off of a handheld and things of that nature, it's just not a good circumstance for them. So fortunately, everything worked out for us, getting the things replaced on the tower that we did. All of that worked out perfectly for them because we were not in good enough shape 4 months ago to do that for them.
Yeah.
So we would not have been able to do that. So it worked out perfectly. Our new console, when it got there, when it did, and them getting that organized and operational in the manner that they did. So this has been a lot of work when we think of what has had to take place to be able to do this. Motorola had to work very hard to do that. They were in the process of putting a console in for another county when all of this came up. So they had to hurry that process up a little bit so we could get up here and make the changes to our console that was necessary to get us up in operation for San Saba. So there's been a lot of folks in all of this that worked very hard. Certainly both judges in getting that interlocal agreement up and going because Motorola had to have that before they could make any changes to the radio. So a lot of things to make this happen.
And I'll add, since Saba Judge Jody Foley several times complimented the whole Commissioner of Court, Mills County, and the sheriff for all their work they've done getting this going.
Well, it's a great piece for both of us to be good neighbors. So
Yeah. It's nice county government to work fast at times too. That's what, it's really amazing.
Yeah, because it usually doesn't work.
It doesn't work
fast.
that fast. So that's what, I was very proud of everybody involved.
well, when we think of how fast it did happen, there was still a lot of things that has to be accomplished that folks worked very hard on to manage that expediency. So it worked out well for both of us.
Well, Sheriff, thanks for all your help on y'all's end over there. Right, number 18, anybody want to adjourn? I'll make a motion, we adjourn. Second by Commissioner Head, all those in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned, everybody have a good day. Karen, thank you for coming.
Thank you.